Hi everyone, Marianne Cowan here from Pinery Paper Crafts. Just making sure I can see the comments. I hope everyone is doing well. It's turned into a beautiful day here. And I'm excited about the cards that we're going to be making today. I'll just wait a second till people pop on. So today we're going to be, hi Shannon. Today we're going to be looking at the Peony Garden Suite again. And I told you that I was going to show you, or I was going to make this card. And I was going to case it from the catalog, which means I'm just going to copy it. And I also liked this one, but mine doesn't look anything like that. So we're going to be making two cards today, and we're going to be doing some coloring with blends. So thank you for joining me today in my studio. I see some other people are logged on. So we're going to be making two cards today. The one that we showed in, well, they're both kind of inspired by the catalog, but one is an exact copy, more or less, of the catalog, and the other one is similar. We're going to be using the new Peony Suite called Prized Peony, and here's what the stamp set looks like. It's gorgeous. And here's what the dies look like. I still haven't figured out these ones yet. Give me time. We're going to be using this one. It's a beautiful scalloped edge, and we're using this big peony die. I didn't use that one. And then the medium peony die and the leaf dies. And actually the leaves are different sizes, which I kind of like. It's 12 by 12. Hi Cindy. Hello Lynn. Yeah, the DSP for this is 12 by 12. So it's called Peony Garden Designer Series paper. Oh man, I've got the wrong stuff in here. I haven't had time to make my little grid thing yet, but I'll just show you. Maybe I can pull it out and see if I get all the pieces. So it's gray and petal pink and white are the coordinating colors. Basic gray, gray granite, so two shades of gray, petal pink, and whisper white. So we have this chevron, beautiful 12 by 12. I like 12 by 12. It's much easier when I'm doing classes because I can cut it. You have to think about how you're cutting your designer series paper. So for 12 by 12, I usually cut it in 4 inches, 4 inches. And then if I'm doing it just a smaller piece, it would be 5 1/4. So that means 11. And you could cut a 1 inch piece off here ahead of time so you don't have all those little pieces. And then you have a nice wider band that you could put sideways on a card. So the chevron, this beautiful gray peony paper. A chevron, same design, but smaller and lighter. So this is basic gray, and this is gray granite. So you can see the difference in the colors, but they all coordinate. And then this is the open flowers, and this is the buds. And I do have peonies opened up today. I think they opened up yesterday. This one, so pretty. We're going to be using this one today. And the back is pink. So yeah, those are gray and gray, gray and gray, gray and pink. I love this one. It's so neutral, but it's so pretty. It looks like a countertop. I don't know what you call it. Not granite, but anyways, it's really pretty. Little specks of different colors of pink. Big, huge gray and white blooms. Marble. More blooms. And you could color these in. And I was saying yesterday, a nice feature on a card is cut out a little piece and then just color one flower. And then leave the rest gray and white. We'll try that another day. It's really, really pretty. Quartz. Yeah, maybe quartz, Lynn. Hi, Sue. And then the last piece, I think, yeah, is this beautiful pink and white. And this gray on the other side. Nice bold, just outline prints. So not, you can see the difference. This I would call distinctive, like the stamp set is, and this is an outline. So the paper is really pretty. It's, I believe, $15.75 in Canada. Here are the 2 cards we made yesterday. So we also use those pretty little doilies, and this I stamped on to make my own background paper. Well, it's not background paper, I just stamped the background on the card. So remember, you don't always need the paper. You can make your own designer paper. And the beautiful little elegant faceted gems. They come in clear, pink, petal pink, and oh, what's this color? I keep forgetting. Pearlescent white. That's it. Pearlescent white. It's not a word I use a lot. So there's the first card we made. And there you can see the small flower that I've cut out using the dies. And then here's the other one using the pink and white paper. These were just quick and easy cards because I got my order at 2 o'clock and Facebook Live was at 3 o'clock. So I just did a couple just to play with it a little bit. So these were really pretty. The other thing we're going to be using today is the Scripty 3D embossing folder. It's a carryover, so it was in the last catalog, and you'll see it when I show you, but it's just really, really pretty. It went with the, I want to say, oh, I don't remember which set it was with, but it's really pretty. All right, so let's do this card first. So what I've done is I've taken basic gray, and instead of our typical sideways fold, this is a vertical fold. Some people don't like making this style of card, but I like it. 4 1/4 by 11. And then you just fold it in half, or you can score it. I find some papers score better without, or fold better without scoring than others, but I don't know. So this one is, make sure I did this. Oh, I was going to say that's backward. No, that's, oh, that's the inside. What am I thinking? So this one, I just wanted a little touch of the gray to show. So this one is 4 1/8 by 5, and it's not 5 1/4, it's 5 3/8. I had to do a bit of math there. So that's going to get layered up. Then I've taken a piece of Whisper White that's the same width, so 4 1/8, and I've taken this edge scallop and I've run it through the Big Shot on both sides. I don't know what happened there, got a little messed up. So you can see how pretty it is. It's got little indentations. It looks just like eyelet is what it looks like. It's very pretty. And I had a little leftover piece that I used for the next one. Then I have just a piece of Whisper White, the same width. Oh no, it's not quite the same width because our flower is going to go over top here. And this sentiment is from the stamp set. My thoughts are with you. And I don't know what happened when I was putting together this one, but I got all my greetings all messed up. Look at this one, it's all off center. Ah, that's going to drive me crazy. And this is so sticky that you cannot peel it off. It'll wreck your stamp. Oh, maybe I'll be able to. Oh, maybe. I'll play with it later. Anyhow, I think I was trying to do it too fast to get on Facebook Live. Then I have the largest of the flowers. I stamped it in basic gray, which my basic gray is really light right now. I'm waiting for my ink refill. And then I cut it out using the die cut. And it's so pretty, it even die cuts in the middle there. Then I have a doily, which is 3 by 3. And the first time I did this, I did it too wide because I want the doily to hang out over the edge a little bit. So this started out to be 2 1/2. And then when you put the scallop on, you just put it right to the edge. So it's 2 1/2, and this is 3, because I do want it to hang over the edge a little bit. For my flower, this is kind of how it's building up. This is going to go here. Actually, this is going to go further down. Now, I was trying to figure out a ribbon. There's no ribbon on the one in the book. I thought, well, that one might be pretty. It actually kind of looks like gray, so that might be an option. Or I did take some of this gauzy, it's in the trim combo from the Forever Greenery. I think it's Greenery trim combo. I think it's on back order already, but I did show you my little trick about coloring it. So I colored it with Petal Pink, the dark Petal Pink, and I let it dry. And then what I do is I just take my scissors, and you can use it full width, but I find it a bit big for a card. So I just cut it with my little snips, or if you have big sewing scissors, it would go a lot faster. But I don't have them handy. So you just cut it in half, and you've seen me use pieces of this, but I didn't show you how I did it. And it doesn't take long to color it, but you do need to have time for it to dry, otherwise a glue dot won't stick to it. And it's not perfectly straight, but that doesn't matter. And then you just take a couple of the outer threads and pull them off, and then you have this really cool little ribbon. At least I think it's really cool. Yes, Shannon, a little heat might. Okay, so before we put this together, we're just going to quickly color this card. When I like to color a big image like this, I usually go in with my soft. So this is soft Petal Pink. I think it's Petal Pink. Petal Pink. Light Petal Pink, not soft. So I'm just going to go around the edge. And if you don't hit the whole edge, it's fine, because when you look at a real flower, the color is variated. I don't think that's the right word. All the way in. So I'm just going to go quick. Now this is the bud, and the buds are always darker. Okay, so I'm just doing this quickly for video purposes. Then I'm going with my dark to all the areas that Stampin' Up!, whoever the artist was, has designed. So you don't even need to try to figure out where the shading is going to be, because they've done it for you. And I'm sure you'll want to take a little more time than I'm taking to do this. And I'm going to do the whole bud in the darker color, because the buds are darker. And this is a very light pink anyway, so you can choose a darker color if you want. So I'm just going to go back in here again with my dark. You can see I'm not really taking a lot of care. Oh, that's a leaf. Sometimes it's hard to tell. And then what I do is I go back with my light and then just smoosh it to kind of blend it. All right, that's good enough. Then I'm using dark or soft seafoam. This is the dark. I'm going to start with the light and see how light it is. This is a really light one. I didn't have Pear Pizzazz, so I went with soft seafoam. Old Olive is a little bit dark for me. I think that's too light. We're going to go with the dark. Yeah, that's better. And even if you just go with one shade, you can still darken it up, and I'll show you how. So we have lots of different tools that you can use for coloring. There's actually a whole section in the new catalog called Coloring Tools. And, well, actually, I don't think the blends are on that page, but there's aqua painters, there's new brushes, lots of fun things. So what I'm doing is I'm just going again, this is my third time, over just the middle and the accents where I want it a little darker. If you were able to use your light and your dark, you could just do light and then accent and dark, but my light was pretty light. I think it was a bit too light. Okay, I think that's going to be good. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm using my new Stampin' Seal, ergonomic, very nice. Have I not tried the new blending markers? I do have a blending marker. I don't know which ones you're referring to, but along with the Stampin' Blends, there is, no, it's a Color Lifter one. Which ones do you mean, Shannon? I'm not sure. Now with the new stamp and seal, apparently you don't have to do the little check mark. You can just lift it up. I'm just so trained to do the little check mark. It's hard for me to just lift it up. But it definitely is good adhesive. I love how it sticks. So this is only 1/8 of an inch, so I'm going to be careful before I put it down to make sure that I have it exactly where I want it. In the sample in the book, it's the full size. It's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, but I wanted a little bit of the gray to show. I don't know, I couldn't go full on. All right, then we're going to take this. I'm actually going to not do it right up to the edge. I'm going to do it every so often. If your glue doesn't start, you just need to go like that with your thumb. And I do want this a bit close to the bottom. Now, if you were fussy, which I'm not, you can see for my scallop, or let's call it eyelet edge, I like that. I didn't make sure that each one was the same, and that doesn't bother me, but it might bother you, and if it does, just make sure that they are. Okay, and then we're going to add this. Now, a good reason for adding a separate piece of white on here is if you mess up, you don't have to go back and redo all your scallops. Or you could stamp it first and then do your scallops, because as you can see, that was a bit crooked for my liking. So I did it again. Which one is the crooked one? Yeah, they're both a bit crooked. That's because I put them on crooked. So these are all just going to go on flat. I'm not popping anything up yet. This glue is really sticky. I really like it. And my piece, I just found a scrap. It doesn't go quite to the whole side, but I don't think that matters. All right. Uh-oh. Error, error. All right, if you're making this card, put this doily on first, underneath this piece. I don't think I'm going to be able to get that off. Let me try. This is called card making. I'm just taking my little thing here and pulling it up. And that seems to be working. Okay, so I'm going to add just some regular glue. I'm going to put it on here actually, because I don't want to rip the doily. So then I'll put my doily on, and I want it overhanging the top and the bottom. Voila! Okay, so I've got a little part coming up there, so I'm going to just take a glue dot. Glue dots are your friend. There. Okay, that looks good. You never know. Now this is going to go just like that. I'm remembering I don't want it hanging off the edge. I don't want it covering my greeting. So it's going to probably go a little higher than I would have wanted it. I'm going to tie a bow and see if I'm going to like this or not. And of course we have to add some jewels. See if I'm missing anything else I had. Sometimes I lay stuff out to use on my card and then I forget to use it. Okay, this is fraying a little more than I wanted it to, but that's okay. Just cut off the pieces you don't want. Alright, so I'm thinking, yeah, I kind of like the bow. The bow and a few little gems, I think it's going to be pretty. I'm just going to cut this one off, because once you start, if you keep peeling them off, it's a never-ending game. And I think I'm going to pop this up. I'm not sure that's a good idea, but I'm going to do it. And I'm just using my little edge pieces because they're perfect for this. Now we'll see how skinny I have to be down there. And to be honest, sometimes you don't need glue right down to the bottom, and we can actually add, I was going to say a glue dot, but we might not be able to add a glue dot. You can just trim your dimensionals to be whatever size you want. All right, that's going to be pretty. This is actually a very pretty card. So let's put that about there. And then we'll add a glue dot. You really do have to wait for this to dry to see the actual color because it was really orangey before. But it actually matches this color perfectly. All right, now we're going to add a couple of little gems. It's so fun to have all these different colored ones to choose from. And maybe, oh, let's put it right in the middle of the circle. There. I like it. We could have used that one too. That actually still looks pretty, but I went to all the trouble of coloring, so we'll use that one. All right, so there's our first card. So that one's pretty much cased exactly as it was in the catalog. It didn't have a bow. This is going to drive me crazy now, trimming all these. But otherwise it's pretty similar. So casing cards is a good idea. It's a good way to get lots of ideas for cards. And the little doilies come in a pack of 24. And they're vellum. And I think that's a sweet deal, because those are a little trickier to run through the Big Shot. Okay, so our next card, I'm not even sure exactly how it's going to look. So I have my base is Whisper White, 8.5 by 5.5. And I didn't score it, but I think I will because it's thick Whisper White. So I'll just grab my scoring tool, put it in the mess of my desk, and score it at, why doesn't that look right? 4 1/4. It looked wrong, but it wasn't, it was right. Okay, so there we go. That makes it a lot easier to fold the thick Whisper White. With the other ones, it's not too bad. Then I have a layer of Petal Pink, 8.5, no, it's not 8.5, 4 1/4 by 5.5. Now a little trick, I hate wasting all this paper, so you might have cut out another flower out of it if you wanted to. Then this one is a smidgen less, so it is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8, and it's the embossed folder, the scripty embossed folder. It's really pretty. Now I'm going to layer this up first because I do have a piece of ribbon here that I want to use, and I'm not sure how yet. So I did have this extra little piece from this, from the edge. This was the other one I did. The first one I did was too big. So this is the extra of it. So I just cut off a little bit of it. What was the extra that I had cut off? And I'm using that for my sentiment. And I'm thinking I want my thing to look like this. And I'm going to have leaves coming out of this flower. So I think I like it like that. Oh, but I have this piece of ribbon that somehow I want to use. All right, I think I like the ribbon there, so we can layer this up and this will be on top. All right, so let's put that aside and let's try to remember. I'm going to put a little glue dot to remember that this is where I want my ribbon. And I'm going to put it right in the middle because I know that, whoops, that my greeting is going to be over top of it. And I'm going to put it to the edge of the pink. So let's go ahead and put the gray on the pink. I'm still waiting for my embossing folder that goes with this suite. I think it's called Diamond. It's called Dainty Diamonds. So that will be pretty. I've seen it, and well, I've seen it in the catalog. The cards are made with it, and it's really pretty. It is very dainty. Okay, so let's go like that. Now for the back, the way I like to do ribbon is I don't like to put glue on the whole piece of ribbon. I like it a little bit loose. So what I do is I take some tear and tape. I take 2 little pieces and I look where my ribbon is going to be, and I just put my tear and tape on the back of my card. And then I put one side down, and then that will tell me, then I turn it over because I want it straight. Otherwise, it will drive me crazy. So I have that little glue dot, and this one's kind of easy because it has, you can see where this scripty script is, if I did that straight. Oh jeez. If I did that straight, then we're all good to go. You can just follow one of the lines of the script. So then I take that one off, but I turn it over first to make sure that it is where I want it. Okay, and that is where I want it. Now is that? Yes. I'm just making sure that's at the bottom. So I'll go ahead and put my next layer on. And I have my stamp over here to remind me to do the inside and the envelope. All right. This is just so pretty to work with. Okay, so here's my vision. I want this here, I want this here, and then I want my little saying that was here a second ago. It's going to go like that. Okay, let's go ahead and color this before we do anything else. So I'm going to start with my light again. There's no leaves on this one, so we can just like go to town. And I'm not even going to worry if I go outside the line because I don't think anyone's going to notice. Don't press too hard on these. They are like a paintbrush. So you do have to use gentle pressure. Otherwise you will find your nibs will bend and wreck. I can tell you. After one of my classes where I used them a lot, it was all, the tip was all busted. So now I'm going to go back with my dark. And again, just anywhere where the artist already gave me the indication that there's going to be shadowing. And don't worry if it looks a little messy at the first, because I'm going to go back in again with my light. And because it's alcohol-based marker, you have a little bit of time for it to move. Okay, now I'm going to go back with my light. I prefer using the paint brush end, but some people like the other end. That may have been a bit too much dark. Oh well. Alright, that looks good. It's still a bit wet, and it does soak through to the other side. So just so you know that. And I'm going to put a couple of leaves on each side. So I'm going to put my leaves together. I probably should have the big one at the back and the little one at the front. So let's use glue dots because you know I love glue dots. So we put these together. And of course you don't have to have them both the same. You could do whatever you like. And you could add some vellum ones too. I didn't cut out any vellum ones, so I'm just going to stick with these ones for now. Should be another big one somewhere. And then I'm going to decide where I want them. Hopefully they'll stick because this is still a little bit wet. As long as it stays for the rest of the Facebook Live, things are good. Has anyone else got this set yet? It is really pretty. If you don't have it and you do want to get it, you will be happy with it. I'm thinking maybe that way. I don't know, I'm always inclined to put my flowers this way. I don't know why. I'm going to pop this up. Alright, so now I want to glue this down. I'm going to get my little sponge and my silicone mat, put a little bit of glue, just kind of dab it. This glue is pretty strong, so. And I want this a little bit high. Then I'm going to put this next. I'm going to put this flat because I'm going to pop up my flower. You can't have too much stuff popped up. Doesn't work. Just looking, sometimes if I have little edges, I just throw them back onto a different sheet so that you don't have a whole bunch of sheets with just edges hanging around. So let's go ahead and put this on. Just seeing if there's any comments. There we go. And then we'll add dimensionals to this flower, and hopefully it's dry enough that they're going to stick. I'm just using all these little edge pieces. And then we'll add some gems, and then we're going to decorate our envelopes and the inside of the cards. All right. I don't know, I just want to tip the flower the other way. Let's put a couple of little jewels. I think this one would look pretty up here. That pearlescent. And let's use one of each. Just because we can. Those gems are really, really pretty. And you get quite a few. I don't know how many exactly, but a lot. Does it say? 90. That's a lot. You can make a lot of cards with 90. All right, so let's go, and we're going to decorate the inside and the envelopes. And I'm going to use the two different stamps and perhaps the leaves. We'll see how it goes. So let's put those there. So for this one on the inside, I'm going to stamp right in the corner, and I'm going to stamp with not gray granite. I think I'll try petal pink. I don't know if I've actually stamped the flower in petal pink. I don't know if it's dark enough. We'll see. You do want it, oh yeah, it's dark enough. You do want it a little bit more subtle. Is this petal pink? Well, you do want it a little bit subtle because so someone could write over top of it. And now we're going to add a couple of green leaves, so using soft seafoam. You could have done this in gray granite as well, but we did color our flower pink, so I thought it would be good. I'm just going to use a couple of the little flowers. And it's hard to know where to put it, that it's not going to overlap the flower and look stupid. There, that's pretty. So let's continue with this flower and do the front of our envelope. So I'm going to do it down in the corner the exact same way. I'm going to make sure I don't do the wrong color like I did yesterday. Hi, friend. We're playing with Peony Garden again. We just made up 2 cards. Now we're decorating the envelopes. Soft seafoam is very light, but I want that for the inside because I don't... Oh, actually this is the envelope, but... Okay, that's really pretty. Okay, so that's the first one. And same colors, but we're going to use the big stamp. But I think on the inside, I do have an insert somewhere here. My desk always ends up such a mess. Okay, I'm going to put it on the side, but I want it softer because it's going to take up a lot of space. Oh, I just realized that we're going to have green leaves here. So this might be one that you want to do in gray. So I'm going to take my sponge and wipe that off. Let's try our, might be a bit wet. Let's try doing this technique instead of, so we're going to take our marker, color. It's always a danger, well we're doing it on a little scrap of paper, so If it doesn't work out, then we haven't lost a lot. Okay, and then we're going to take our green. I'm just going to use the dark. And then we'll go over with our green. So these, typically actually you do this with the Stampin' Write markers. I'm just thinking now. But we'll try it. If it doesn't work, there's two sides of the paper and we'll just stamp it in gray. Alright, then the last thing you do is breathe on it to make sure it's still moist. And we'll see if we like it. No, that did not work. Alright, plan B, we flip it over. I think we have to use the other kind of markers. So we'll just go with this, and this is really dark, I can tell right away. So we're going to stamp off. And then stamp lightly in the corner. There, that's pretty. That's what we're going with. So the alcohol-based markers, I've actually never used them for that technique, and now I see why, because it doesn't really work that well. So you would have to use your regular Stampin' Write markers. And let's do the same thing for the front of the envelope. I wonder if there's any ink left on there. Because we do have to do the front. This gray is darker than I thought. Now, be careful, we don't want to get it all over the back of the envelope either. It is still wet after all. There, that's pretty. Just love the gray. Gray and pink is just so pretty together. Alright, so let's go ahead and put this in our card now that we've made it. Little bit of Stampin' Seal. I always do it too hard. I know that. It says gentle pressure. So this one opens this way. And try to get it straight. All right. So there we have this card featuring the eyelet trim. I just want to call it eyelet. I don't know if it is, but. And then we have this card featuring the Scripty embossing folder. Both of them have the beautiful vellum. This one has the ribbon painted, colored using the Stampin' Blends, Petal Pink. And this one does not have a ribbon. Maybe it needs one. You know me. I'm going to add this and we'll see if I like it or not. This is linen thread and it actually kind of looks gray, which is kind of why I think it looks pretty. I like it like that. Yeah, I like the bow. All right, so those are our cards for today. And tomorrow I'll be back. I'm not sure if I'll be using Peony Garden or something different, but I'll definitely be using something for our Facebook Live. So thank you for joining me in my studio today. I hope you join me on my mission to make a card, send a card, because that's the beauty of our hobby, is that not only do we get the joy from the creative process of making cards, but then we get to send them to the people that we love and are missing right now. Even though in Ontario we're starting to open up a little bit, it's still, you know, no hugs and kisses to our whole family. I'm from a really big family, so it's been tricky. It's been tricky. Okay, I have to do them the same. Alright guys, so we'll see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock for another Facebook Live. Thanks and have a great day.